I just started our recording. Are you okay with being recorded?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you. So this is Tijen Genco, and we're recording a demo session. Welcome to our session, Jerry. What did you have for us to talk about today?
Well, ever since this pandemic started, I've stopped or changed my routine. Like many other people, I was a member of a fitness connection and then the YMCA and taking yoga classes and things like that. And so I, dropped those memberships because first of all, they closed, I couldn't go. So I wanted to focus on fitness, and I've gained a little bit of weight since this has happened. And this morning, I can believe it, I woke up and my back was bothering me. And so I haven't had something like that in years. So I want to talk about general fitness, around physical fitness, managing my weight and my exercise.
When I hear that there is the concept of fitness, managing weight, there is the back pain. When you talk about fitness in general, what does that include for you?
Well, I think your word, the sense of well-being, which to me it's more encompassing than weight or something like that. It's about how I feel, my attitude toward the world, an attitude of optimism and positivity in terms of my outlook, my mindset, and then also being in shape. And by that I mean, for me, it'd be losing about 6 pounds or 7. That's about what I've gained in this COVID crisis, and regularly exercising more than I'm doing right now. I'm more sporadic, and so it's an overall sense of well-being and feeling good about myself, having a great outlook on life, and physically knowing that my health is really supporting me.
When your health is really supporting you, what are going to be some indicators of that?
Well, I wouldn't have the back pain that I just woke up with this morning. That's one thing. Okay, let's see, what else would be an indicator? Part of it would be that I would be keeping my routine rather than, that's not the output, but it's the means to get me to feeling really good. So that I would be disciplined. I would be keeping a regular routine of my exercise and doing some yoga at home and walking in the park, things like that. Indicators would be, what else would that be? I guess it was just less aches and pains, but that's less of. I want more of just the overall sense of feeling good. And every day waking up excited and energetic and ready to get out of bed and embracing life fully.
Embracing life, yeah. Sometimes that when people talk about their wellness vision, they can have an indicator like, I can actually go out in a particular hike for 3 days I've been always wanting to do. I can dance in my grandchildren's wedding. and certain things that are inspiring them for the longer term, or I can still do a salsa dancing when I'm 95,
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, so here's another one then that's sparked some thoughts. When I go walk in the park, usually I'll walk about 30 minutes. So I would say being able to walk, and not that I can't do this now, but for an hour at a time versus 30 minutes without wanting to stop, wanting to keep walking, wanting to exercise. I mean, I used to do a lot of hiking and camping in the mountains. And so certainly that could be a vision. Part of my vision is, because I love, love, love the mountains. And when I'm able to go back, is being able to hike for, a couple of miles on a trail, and my body will do it and I handle it well. And that might sound weird, like I couldn't do it now, but I just haven't done it in such a long time that I don't know what it would be like. Because I remember hiking up mountains and how winded, a person can get, how I could get when you're going up a trail versus just straight walking. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
depends on the mountain, right? We all know it.
yeah, I used to do the, like 13, 14, 15,000 foot mountains. I'd go on those Sierra Club hikes. So
Oh,
I'd say being able to do a 2-mile hike up a mountain trail that's, not flat, and manage it well and feel good about it and be able to do it.
you shared one of your values, that your love of the mountains, and when your body is handling you well and handling life well, that's one of the indicators. What might be some other values of yours that you will start to see this indication around your wellness vision?
I think the self-care, really, that's important for me and with the clients that I work with. So I want to live well into old age, feeling good, looking good. People saying, "Oh, she looks like she's 10 years older than she is." I could put some vanity in there too, right?
Absolutely, why not?
So that I'm vital, energetic, lots of vitality, because so I could live to be 100 years old. And so taking care of my health as a younger person, that's going to enable that, to have a healthy old age.
We're looking at 30 years from now. Whatever that. So actually that's a instead of me projecting it, when would you like to experience this vision of yours, hiking in the mountains and not feeling tired about it? You're vital, energetic, and looking beautiful.
Well, of course, right now. Yeah. Well, let's say a year from now, whenever I'm counting on, we'll see, that we are able to get out back to more normality in terms of moving around in open spaces, and the national parks will be open again. So I would say a year from now, I'd like to be able to say that I feel that way that I've just described or we've just talked about. So I love like Big Bend National Park. I've been hiking in the Chisos Mountains. So I would say a trip to the Chisos Mountains, a year from now, taking an overnight backpacking trip. And I don't remember how high that mountain is. I don't remember. It's probably under 10,000 feet, those mountains, but that's good 8 to 10,000 feet.
A year from now, that's your long-term goal. To test it out, your vision.
Right. Okay.
So let me share with you what I heard, and then you can correct your vision, that whatever we came up with. Okay. Your vision is 2 years from now, you are going to be able to take a 2-mile hike to the mountains, and your body can do it and you can handle it with ease while you're looking good, vital, energetic, and what this hike also feels good for you.
Sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Anything else we want to add to this vision around your well-being?
Well, we didn't talk about the weight. So, okay. So I feel better when I'm about 10 pounds lighter. So that would add to the energy, the vibrancy, the just feeling good about myself. Okay. And being able to fit into, because I think I've already gone out of one size here, so I need to get back down to one size. I mean, I'm sort of on the border right now. So it's around, and that also affects blood pressure, all kinds of stuff, BMI. It's just being at the right weight for my height.
And that's a long-term goal, yeah? Mm-hmm. So when would you like to achieve this, releasing the 6 pounds?
Well, I guess it's taken me 6 months. It's been a pound a month. So I would give myself about 3 months, or 3 to 4 months. I think it probably would happen faster than that, depending on what I do about my eating habits. But stop eating desserts during the week, for example.
Those will be shorter term goals. So Okay, so one of the long-term goals towards your wellness vision is to drop 6 pounds within the 3 to 4 months range. And you added other biometrics to that. Do we want to specify them or?
So let's make it 10 pounds instead of 6 pounds.
Okay.
Because I think that would put me really right back where I was before this all started. And I'm sorry, the other measurement, what was it? You asked me the other measures.
I'm going to repeat them, but 10 pounds still in the 3 to 4 months, or do we want to expand that?
If I were to do 2 pounds a month, that would be 5 to 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more realistic, I think, for me.
Mm-hmm. And given the conditions that are here today,
Mm-hmm.
and let's assume that they may not be changing anytime soon, would that impact your desire to achieve this goal in about 5 to 6 months?
Well, let's make it a pound a month instead of 2 pounds a month.
Why not, right?
Right, right. We were realistic. So I would say, okay, so let's say in 6 months, I did lose 6 pounds in 6 months. So that puts me back at the 6 pounds, and then it'd be another 4. If I lose more, that's gravy, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended there.
We're saying that 10 pounds in 10 months towards
Mm-hmm.
your wellness vision, which is going to be achieved within the 12 months period for you.
Right.
And you mentioned also about your blood pressure, BMI, and other things. Do we want to include those, or you will be measuring your success by the dropping of the weights?
I think the dropping the weight would take care of anything else. I don't have high blood pressure and the BMI. I think all that would be taken care of with the weight, because I don't know what my BMI is right now anyway. So I'd have to figure that out. But I think the weight loss really, because that means I'm dropping fat, which, contributes to the other factors.
Absolutely. We are now towards this beautiful wellness vision of yours. We have one indication and a long-term goal, desire of dropping 10 pounds in 10 months, which is 1 pound a month. I'm wondering now what else might be there, because you mentioned that there is the fitness level. Is that going to be directly measured through the loss of the pounds, or other things might be impacting?
I think there are some other things that we could look at. One, when I talked about, I used to do a lot of yoga classes, and, I have a lot of yoga exercises, videos, and things I could be watching on television, or I just have a bunch of them I can do, floor exercises, and I've only done them sporadically. And so what happens with those is there are certain things that you can do, or I can do. I'm very flexible. I always have been since a little kid. And what I'm noticing is I feel stiffer, so physically I would be able to tell the difference in some of the postures and things that I could do. And I can't name exactly which ones, but and the strength. So let's say I don't do push-ups, but I certainly could probably add something like that. But the yoga positions, when you're holding yourself up, it strengthens. And so I would say increasing my flexibility and my strength. And I've got some bar weights too. So there are some things like that. Those are not measurements, but they are what means to the end. It would help me with the strength.
Increasing your flexibility and strength, what is our current baseline for that?
Okay, I don't know really how to describe what that would be right now. I guess because I woke up with my back stiff and hurting this morning, I'm like, okay, that's an indicator that I'm not doing the work. The opposite of that is that my body, my posture, my muscles, everything supports me without any pain, without any, I'm trying to put it in a way that I'm moving toward a goal rather than just kind of get rid of something. And I'm not doing a really good job here of crafting that or explaining it to answer your question. But
I think you used the word vitality before. How
mhm.
does that work for you in this case?
Yeah, that's good. Vital, energetic. And so if I were to describe having great vitality, it would be feeling strong in my body, flexible, positive attitude, full of appreciation and gratitude toward life. You know, I express those every day in my rituals that I have. But just feeling even more of that. When you feel good, I know this from my own experience, when I feel good in my body, everything else is better. It affects everything.
Of course. The reason I'm asking you the current baseline, I know that is hard, especially when you don't have professionals to measure it for you.
Fitness center, they did my blood pressure and the weight and strength. You know, they gave me tests to see how strong I was, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would be the long-term goal towards your vision for increasing flexibility and strength?
It's hard to put a measurement on that like I could on pounds or just the way that I would go about doing something. You know, like when I waking up every morning, I said this earlier, feeling energetic and wanting to jump out of bed like that, you know, rather than wanting to, you know, turn the, you know, sleep another 30 minutes kind of thing.
I'm wondering, that's our outcome, right, as a result of this. And you
Right.
mentioned certain vehicles that might be supportive to get you there, the meditation, the yoga, the weights, and other things. So maybe if that resonates with you, we can baseline with your current utilization of those tools.
Okay.
And then we can have a long-term goal about by the 10th
All
month,
right.
where would you like to be with that?
Yeah, that's a good way, I think, to do it too. Yeah, thank you for that. Well, right now, weight 0. That's my baseline. It's before the pandemic at the Y, I was using the weight machines like 3 or 4 times a week. And I was doing yoga classes 2 or 3 times a week. So all of that has gone away. It's been 0. So there's no weights right now. And then the yoga is just sporadic. So we could probably just say we're starting from a baseline of 0 for both of them.
Okay.
Just to be, you know, realistic, because I'm so inconsistent. And then if we change it to like, I'm doing yoga 3 times a week and weights twice a week, that would put me back in the pattern that I was doing before COVID started or the pandemic.
Excellent. Yeah. So 2 times a week weights and 3 times a week yoga. And
yeah, and I have a wonderful book. I've got a perfect routine of yoga exercises that I can do right across the room here from where I'm sitting.
when would you like to achieve this goal?
Well, it's going to be an ongoing thing rather than an end goal. Like it's something I'll be doing, acting on. So I think I could start it this week, you know, literally start it tonight. I could start doing yoga exercises tonight. So what's today, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
So if I did the weights, let me do the weights Tuesday, Wednesday, and the yoga Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Tuesday and Wednesday weights?
Now Tuesday and Thursday weights.
Thursday.
And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the yoga exercises. And then also I do walk in the park. So I usually do that several times a week, which is, you know, more of a cardio.
Yes. And how many times that needs to happen?
I try to do it, you know, 4 or 5 times a week. I don't always do that, but that is the one form of exercise I have been doing. But I could do more of it, and I could do more of it because sometimes it's maybe 3 times a week. If I could get myself up, you know, like between 7 and 7:30, that's the perfect time for me to go when it's already daylight and it's still cool. Aim for 4 to 5 times a week.
4 to 5 times. This used to be your habit.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that you exited.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your experience in general when you want to form a habit? How long does it take for you?
Okay. Let's see. I don't know, probably a couple of weeks or so. If I get a really good week of something, I get momentum. But I'd say a couple of weeks or so at least. Before I had a trainer that I met at the Y and when I was at the fitness center, that I had an appointment. I had a reason. Someone else was there, to help me. And then in between, I would do it on my own. So that made a difference. I think having someone hold me accountable. But I'd say a couple of weeks.
Given the fact that that accountability partner is not there and you're starting your own, how long do you think that you wish to give it to yourself so that you can get to that routine with ease?
I don't know, you may have some standards that you're thinking about as you ask those questions, but I mean, I know a lot of the literature I've read is 21 days for an average person. So that would be 3 weeks. So maybe that's more realistic for me.
Often I know from my experience and my reading that the behavior change, it takes about 90 days to settle in and then requires repetition. Hearing that, what happens for you?
Well, I'm just trying to go back in my memory because I had these accountability partners. It happened pretty quickly because I had appointments. When I remember one year I decided to start jogging, and I did it for an entire year, and I jogged like 5 times a week. And I don't remember how long it took me to form that habit, but I was really committed. I lost a lot of weight, just a lot of things around just running. I don't run. I wouldn't run now because it would hurt my knees. But when I was really committed to even one thing like the running, it affected, the way I pay more attention to what I ate, and just a lot of other things fell into place too.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm answering your question very well.
You are. Yeah. So basically, it seems like 2 things are really impacting your ability to form a habit. One is the accountability partnership, and another one is your commitment level.
Yeah.
You think, okay.
That's true.
Where is your commitment today from 1 being not much at all and 10 is absolutely committed? I want to be that person climbing up the mountain and looking beautiful.
Yay, that's it. Okay, to be very realistic about where I am right now, I'm between 5 and 10 because I don't think I'm at 10. Okay, so I need to really think about this. So, because it's very important. It really is important. And I know what's important shows up in our behavior more than anything. So I would say right now, I'd say 7 or 8, and I'll need to work on getting that up to even, I think starting to do it will make a big difference, and the persistence will make a lot of difference.
So in the 7 and 8, you are not exercising at all currently, right? But you're committed towards the vision.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So very committed towards the vision. Vision excites you. So then
behind my back crossed.
Exactly. All right. Just teasing. So where would you like to be at where in the scale next?
Okay. So I would like to be like the 9-10 range, so that I really have that absolute commitment, because if I really think of the long term, it's essential, enables everything else. So I don't have good health. It's hard to do anything when I don't feel really well.
Okay. So in a 9 to 10 range, when would you like to get there?
Well, let's see. I guess within this next month. So this is October. If I start working on it, this week, then by the end of October, that I would ratchet up to that 9 to 10 range.
Your commitment will go up there in 1 month. How the accountability partnership is going to impact, if at all, your commitment level?
That's a good question. I'm not walking with anyone. I just walk on my own, and I really like that better because I can set my own pace, and I like to do it without talking, where I enjoy nature. And I'm not going to be going to the gym or why, even though some of them open again, because I don't want to get exposed. And the numbers are going up again in Texas on the COVID. So all that to say, there's probably somebody that I could reach out to. My boyfriend, I think would be a good person that we could hold each other accountable. That would be the best person, really. Or my sister, one of those two.
Would they be supportive, holding your accountability for just walking, or walking, yoga, weights, everything?
I think if we were to sit down and talk about what we both want, we could probably talk about all three things, and the walking, the yoga, and the weights. And I could, if maybe once a week or something like that, not every day, but connect around that topic. Feels better to me than like every day.
Some days you will have the partnership and some days you may not.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's okay, because these are activities that are singular activities for me. I don't really want to be doing them with someone, but it's just more the connecting, touching base is what I'm talking about. Not doing with, but just talking about the goals that we set.
I see. I'm going back to, again, checking up with you about the vision. We talked about releasing some of the weight. We talked about increasing your stamina and flexibility levels with the certain exercises. And you also talked about not only feeling good, but looking good. What contains in that?
So my measurement of that is the size of clothes that I can get into.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a lot of 6 and 8 slacks and dresses and stuff in my closet. And now I'm more like in a 10 to 12 size, which is more than for my height and everything that I want to be. I look better if I'm about 10 pounds lighter, and I'm 10 pounds lighter, I can get into all those clothes. So that's my gauge. And that one was easy.
Okay. And
that kind of gets to the inches without measuring the inches, like that I'm this much in the waist or whatever. It's more, do I fit into those clothes?
And that's going to be measured by the 12-month period as a long-term goal?
Yeah, yeah.
Then there is this, just checking in, there were almost a spiritual piece in your language when we were talking about having the positive attitude, appreciation for the world, feeling good and energetic. Mm-hmm. What is in that container?
Well, daily I do meditate and pray, and I have a certain mantras that I use that are important to me, and they really do shift the way I see things. So, I believe in a higher power, and I believe that the universe is all composed of energy, and there's a life force that underpins all that without going into religion. I don't want to talk about certain faith or anything like that. And so it informs what I do, and the teaching that I do, and the what I believe philosophically. And it really is important, because I think having appreciation and gratitude for everything in our lives, regardless of what they are, even if they're difficult circumstances, I can say, what can I learn from that? And how will it help me inform what I do and how I decide things, which also includes forgiveness and letting go of, because it's so easy to get really angry right now with what's happening in the world, because we've got so many simultaneous calamities. And so I have to work on the attitude of shifting to, what can I do about this? What's within my power and control? versus railing against it, you know. And there's a place for both, I believe, but philosophically, I think spiritually, we're putting out energy into the world, attracting that to us. And if I put a lot of negative energy in the world, I may get that back. I put more positive energy in the world, that'll come back. So that's kind of some of the things I believe.
Beautiful. Jerry, it looks like that is a practice still remaining with you. That doesn't seem like we need to do much around that towards the vision. What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's something that I continue to do every day. So, yeah.
Okay. So then towards your vitality, anything else might be included, such as the food choices and other things?
Oh, yeah. Well, since my partner and I are eating a lot of desserts. So you wonder why, I wonder why I got extra 10 pounds. We really eat quite well. I mean, I got this Instapot that I got, and I'm cooking all kinds of wonderful recipes that are very healthy, and we eat lots of salads. It's really the challenge for me has been I've fallen into this pattern of eating several desserts a week, and I do enjoy a glass of wine. I don't drink one daily, but I've had a lot more wine since this pandemic happened than ever before. I read an article the other day to say that people are drinking 15% more alcohol now than they were before the pandemic. So I'm probably falling in that category.
Yeah.
So I could really reducing the desserts is a big piece.
And how is that reduction gonna look like in the long term?
In the long term, that will help me with dropping the pounds and fitting back into my clothes and feeling better. And
yes.
yeah.
So like basically what I was wondering is that in what time period would you like to reduce that?
Oh, I see where you're going. Well, I think rather than having 3 desserts a week, I could go to 1. You know, carrot, and that way I wouldn't feel like I was depriving myself. And before, when I lost weight, I didn't worry so much about that sort of thing as it was just being sure I had balanced meals and plenty of vegetables and fruits and protein. So I think having 1 dessert a week versus 3 or 4 would, at least initially, would be a way I could approach that.
Okay, and when would you like to come to that 1 dessert a week?
Well, I've already had 1 this week, so.
You know, it could be 3 months, 6 months, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, maybe next week I could start and just keep it to 1, and then just try to do that each week.
And you could also choose gradual reduction of the portion sizes and other things if that.
Yeah, I think maybe the portion size would be good. We get these little cheesecakes. They're not very big, so the portion sizes are not large, but I think you know, we're not eating those great big like cheesecakes from the Cheesecake Factory type of thing. It's more little ones from Aldi, and they're not as calorie laden. They really are less so. I mean, really, what I've done is really interesting. I've plateaued. I think, you know, you get to a point taking a certain amount of calories, and I don't go up, I don't go down. So it tells me that I need to reduce the calories. So, so maybe this month, this is October, maybe the rest of this month it will be 2 a week rather than 4 a week, and then I could pare it off gradually to be more realistic about what I could do.
Absolutely. So maybe 3 to 4 months that we say once a week. And that makes me wonder, you know, sometimes we get into more in a need to have a sweet things, the desserts and other things, when we lack sweetness in other parts in our life. How does that resonate with you at all?
Well, if we were to look at the metaphor of the whole pandemic, it's not a
Right.
very sweet experience, right? It's a sour or bitter experience. So that could fit from that perspective, not in other ways, but in that perspective. And then also what I did is I started getting sparkling water, even though I think it's kind of silly to pay money for water, but because we have it, but it's a drink that gives me a little, it's sparkling water with lime or grapefruit or something in it, and it gives me a little bit of a sweetness. It feels like a treat, and it's a little bit of bubbly water. So I found substituting that for some things was helpful.
Okay, so you already are taking actions.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. Yeah, I brought that up because when we become the conscious of, as you said, this is a sour and bitter experience, then maybe we can introduce consciously sweeter experiences that support eating lesser sweet foods.
Yeah, Tijen, that's really interesting because I guess this would be an example of one thing that I do that really supports that is I look for really positive, uplifting stories, like when I'm watching things on television or reading and online, whatever, and I collect those and I use them when I'm teaching, or right now I'm writing a book about 101 ways to make a difference, one act at a time. And so I'm collecting all these good news stories, and they are sweet. They're just beautiful, uplifting, and it really makes a difference. And when I share those with people, they're like, it touches your heart and your soul, and so that is one way that I'm countering the negativity that swirls around us.
Excellent. So it's another thing that you're doing it already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just checking back with you again, Jerry, that our vision is to get you in a year that feeling good, looking great, flexible, vital, energetic, and hiking up the mountain. So we have long-term goals around that, to dropping about a pound a month over 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
And you're increasing the flexibility and strength. And we talked about that, engaging your accountability partnership and increasing your commitment in about a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so within that, we talked about your short-term goals for this week, that adding these certain exercises.
Mm-hmm.
So what will be then your short-term goals for this week?
Oh, for
All
this,
around. Mm-hmm.
well, this is Tuesday, so I can I talked about doing weights on Tuesday, Thursday, so I could do some of the weights. I've got the several different size of hand weights, the little, like, I don't know, what are they called? They're not dumbbells. What are they? Anyway, hand weights. So I could actually do some of those this evening, and I think I would do a few exercises. I've already done a few yoga today just because my back was bothering me. I've already been doing some stretches, but today I'm going to take a walk later on today. I didn't do it this morning, so I'm going to walk, and then I'll do some weights, and then tomorrow I'll do the yoga. So this week I'll get started.
You mentioned that you already took one slice of the dessert for this week. And then what will be your action towards that?
Well, I think I can just wait until next week to have my next dessert, because I've already
Already? Okay.
I've actually had two this week.
Okay.
One was chocolate and the other was cheesecake. So I had one cheesecake this week.
Sounds lovely. Okay, well, just gonna check in with you to see what's kind of resonating with you, what is staying with you.
I think it goes back to really making the commitment to make this happen, to really make the decision and just get started. It's the commitment to it more than anything.
We talked about you needing some time to increase your commitment levels. What will be supportive of that besides the accountability partnership?
I think if I go back and write all this down, because written goals make a difference, I think, and have them in a place where I can look at them every day as a reminder. I can certainly, there's a place I can post it, on the wall or on a bookcase here. That may be a way to do it. Or I've got a folder where I keep things like that, that I can open up every day and have it here on the desktop. So I think that would be the best thing, to type them up, put them in that folder. And I also have these tracking things that I've made over the years to track my progress. That year that I jogged the whole year and I lost weight, I actually tracked myself every day. I had a chart, and then I checked off, the exercise I did, and that I had enough water and certain protein, kind of like a Weight Watchers thing where you check a little booklet you check off. So that I think would be useful, writing them down and having a little tracking sheet.
Excellent. And sometimes people find it helpful to have a pictorial representation of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking in to see if that resonate with you at all, about how the mountains are. And
yeah, I mean, I've actually done that sort of thing on the vision boards, and certainly I could get, in fact, this week I was looking at some Google Images, that some of them pop up on my computer screen every time I open my laptop or my computer. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I could get, I could actually, I've been to the Big Bend before. I love that place, and get some pictures of Big Bend specifically, and have those as part of my little book that I look at every day as a reminder.
What might get in your way, if anything?
Me. Who else? It's just my willingness to do it. You make it happen. And so if I say I'm going to walk in the morning, I do have an accountability partner that I talk to every morning at 9 a.m. And sometimes what happens is I'll let myself, when I intend to walk before that call, I'll make that as an excuse not to walk then. And then sometimes I don't walk later when I meant to. So that could get in the way, just my own habits.
How would you overcome that if that happens?
Well, I could use an alarm clock, and as a reminder that this is the moment. I can do walking meditations. So sometimes I'll do the prayer and meditation before I go walking, but I could do them together, and even sitting in my car. So I could go to the park and do that. So I think that would be something I could do differently. Maybe I combine the two.
Beautiful. I want to check in to see, how do you feel where we are right now?
Yeah, pretty good. I think we've covered a lot of territory here in right depth. And now I've got sort of an image and a plan of how I could go about this, and and realizing it's really important, that because that my back bothering me is a wake-up call, like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Because normally I don't have anything like that. I'm very lucky. I feel like I've been very fortunate to have good health most of my life, and with very, very few blips. And I want to keep that track record going. I know I'm not in control of everything. I don't mean that, but I am in control of how I treat my body. So, so this is a good, huge reminder and beneficial to go toward that dream I have of really staying vital and fit for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I cannot think of a better person that you are, really envisioning, because you're teaching this for a long time and inspiring everyone else, and seeing you observing that going like this, that, the other thing rather quickly in this session. It may take a longer time for somebody else to even just envision. I want to acknowledge your work in the process. So how complete are you feeling right now about all this?
Yeah, I'm very complete with this. This is good. It's a pretty thorough session on this. I needed it a lot.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to stop our recording then.